A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave of too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no one seen hand. We got the master plan. Get the move. What's going on, y'all? Y'all want to do this mission real quick. To my fellas out there, you know, just as a no motivation, man. You know what I'm saying? No, sometimes, we all need, like a helping hand, sometimes just a word of encouragement, you know what I'm saying? And just something to, try to help, brothers out there, to just be encouraged, you know what I'm saying? So uh I had a good talk with my homeboy today, you know what I'm saying? And we were just talking, about things, making decisions, and so you know, I had, I just explained to him like, bro, one thing about it as men, we can't make excuses. It's no excuse can be made. That is one of the, I would say, the burdens you have to bear as a man. It's just no excuse. It's no excuse for you to be broke. It's no excuse for you to have your own place. No excuse for you to have your own transportation, job, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Way to make money, whatever. So I just telling him, because he's like, man, what you think I need to do, with this certain situation. Like, bro, you got to make a plan, whether it be, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever. You have to make a plan and execute on that plan. You know what I'm saying? Because, and then us, like I said, us as men, it's no excuses we can make. We have to, and also make good decisions. Making good decisions at the right time. That's crucial. Um, and I would say this, even if we make, cause I've done it, made bad decisions, right? A number of times, but then the crucial one is like, it's like, man, this is like a crucial decision, man, and um, I can't fumble the ball right here. You know what I'm saying? And I just know that during those times when it's crucial, man, you have to make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I would go for, men and women, you know what I'm saying? But men especially, you know what I'm saying? Because we are, dependent on, we're expected to come through, to be resourceful, um, to be able to control things, have things under control, guide people, guide certain things in a certain way, um, and just be overall on top of things, you know what I'm saying? So, I would say that, man, like when it comes down to making good decisions, you know, you really have to, you know, take in consideration um, making the best decision you can when it's crunch time, and that comes down to researching, doing your homework on certain things, even praying about it, man. You know what I'm saying? Going to the ancestors, going to God. You know what I'm saying? Going to you know, getting advice from whoever. You know what I'm saying as well. That's what we have to do. Because sometimes I don't think we lean on our friends, our family enough. For certain things. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this as well. When it's time to make a decision, you got to make a decision. You can't oscillate. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and not to say, hey man, you might not have reservations, but I'm saying when it's time to really make the decision, you have to make the decision to execute. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things, man, I would say, in regards to, when it's crunch time, you have to, man, come to the table with all your facts, all your evidence or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever your strategy is that you're trying, whatever you're trying to do. And then when it comes down to it, you have to execute. You know what I'm saying? Because indecisiveness is what I think destroys. It destroys decision making. Preciseness and um, I actually think it destroys prudence. You being able to make a good decision at the right time. You know, you oscillate so much, you never get anything accomplished, or you oscillate so much, and it leads to doubt. Doubting yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that, man, like really, like take that in consideration. You know what I'm saying? And then, I said, man, look, I pray like the word. I like, hey, ask God to let it be done, and after I pray, it's like, hey, it's done. What I asked for is done. And I'm gonna act on it. So I would say even that. You know what I'm saying? If you do identify with that, I would say even in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Pray about it. And if you know in your heart and you believe that it's gonna happen, it can happen. What you pray for will be fulfilled. It will. You will receive it. Just take action. You know what I'm saying? And don't look back. I would say that. So I just, like I said, I just had to make this video on that because I think sometimes, um, we get caught up into not in words. It's that I also it would be the word we made bad decisions before, and then now we finna make something. We kind of freeze, kind of holds us up, where we're afraid, to act. So I would say that, just try your best, man. When it's crunch time, when it's time to make that crucial decision, you know, pray about it, man. You know what I'm saying? Really be sincere about it. Get your information together, get your facts together. And then when it's time to take action, man, take action. And like I said, be decisive. Don't look back. Like don't, hold no type of doubts, fear, in your mind, your body, your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Take action and move forward. And that's how, me, like I said, I get things done. I said I would, like I said, I want to provide this advice to, fellas out there, how to really get things done. You know what I'm saying? Don't fear about it, man. You know what I'm saying? And really, you know, embark on your journey and do what you're gonna do. Do what you're called to do. I honestly think like we all, all have a greater purpose. You know what I'm saying? We are here. Sometimes we get tricked out of our divinity. I would say it like that. What we're called to do here. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we miss we actually miss the calling, you know what I'm saying, or the understanding of what we're called to do, So I would say that, man. But just like I said, be decisive, man, and make good decisions at crunch time when it comes down to it. And like I said, that's based on like three things, pray about it, get your research, get all that, together, and when it comes down to making that decision, make that decision with decisiveness and don't look back. Don't doubt yourself. Don't fear. Know it's done. What you asked for, what you trying to get, man, it's done. It's gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? You have, in your spirit, call that into being. So don't fear. But anyway, like I said, I just want to get on here and say that. Hope y'all out there doing well, living life for love and happiness. Doing great, strive for greatness every day. I appreciate y'all liking, commenting, sharing my videos, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, we can agree, or we can disagree. We disagree, we can hash it out, But until next, y'all, love y'all. All right, y'all.
Fuck it, go ahead and blow off the dough. Step through the maze, man, and became amazing. About to rewrite history and change a page in a crooked book that never told us the true story. Like how we were kings and queens before the slave story, before the killing, stealing, and drug dealing on some real shit. We ran the world.